DNVR Draft Day
Thanks,
Live. It is Friday in the Mile High City. The sun is shining. The city is buzzing, and I am ready to have a good old conversation today about the Denver Broncos, as the team will get better in the next few hours. And and I just gotta say, like, this is gonna be a good vibes type of day.
Quite certainly.
And that goes for you too, chat. If you want to bring negative vibes, there might be other streams you can go to.
Yeah. Also, I want us to get back to football discussions.
Exactly.
Ooh, don't want to hear about my animal crackers.
No.
Okay.
Or rampant speculation that won't matter for another month.
Andre brought a bag of animal crackers and presented them with the sentence, "My boys gotta eat."
My boys gotta eat.
That really got me.
I was prepared.
But we did too. We did have to eat.
Yeah.
And I ate a bunch of elephants.
Are we cutting to? Oh, sorry. Okay. Jeez. I feel like you might not be following the good vibes only train there.
Is Allie breaking the rules already?
I think Allie already broke the good vibes rules.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Is that on the bingo card?
Can we put her in timeout?
Wow.
Damn.
Oh,
Can't be done.
well, that's too bad.
It's true.
You
That's
can't do
true.
that.
I know all about that.
All right. Let's start here, Dre.
Yeah.
Because over the last, how many hours has it been since we left here? I don't know. 36?
Yeah. No.
No.
Oh, sorry.
We're
not
talking
36.
like
I mean
18.
16.
Yeah.
16.
Right. You're right.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's been a
That's
long
where we're
one,
at.
brother.
Day 2 of the draft.
Yeah,
Famously,
it's been a long
2 days
one, brother.
after the first round of the draft.
There's day 0, day 1, day 2. We're on day 2.
Yeah.
We missed day 1.
Yesterday did feel like 2 days.
It did. Okay.
Today did too.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of time to look at Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
And, man, when you combine what you see from him on tape with what the Broncos have to say about him and the way they feel about him, it's hard not to get excited, despite whatever bad feelings you might have about the pick, not being a quarterback, really. It's hard not to get excited about what Patrick Surtain can be as a corner in Denver.
Yeah, 100%. I'm actually kind of surprised by the reaction, not so much by Broncos fans, but by like draftniks who write this up, who are also kind of a little too focused on what the Broncos didn't take.
Yes.
And not so much on the fact that Surtain is a set and forget player. Surtain, thank you.
I'm gonna check you on that until you get
At
it right.
a premium position, which you really don't find all that often. I'd compare him. I mean, and Mace kept saying it yesterday, but he really does compare incredibly favorably to Bradley Chubb. He's really a cornerback version of that. He's got the size, he's got the athleticism, he's a great run defender, he's serviceable in coverage, he's good pass rusher. He checks off all the boxes. The only concern, is he going to be that like super duper star or just a superstar? Which I think is totally fine, and we can see some of those examples of the concerns. And really the best compliment I could pay Pat Surtain when I watch the tape, he is incredibly boring. You will rarely find a top 10 player that is as boring as he is, because he's just flawless. His technique's so precise. As I was telling you, he's one of those prospects where you really could use him as an example for what you mean by playing with leverage and coverage. He's so sound in just all areas. He's barely ever thrown to. Shoot, they barely ever run his way because he's just so flawless, So there aren't that many plays to get excited about. He's rarely going to get contested catches. He doesn't bite on like double moves or anything. He just doesn't give you much aside from like, oh yeah, he shadowed the guy, they threw it the other way.
Right.
It's just that over and over and over.
That's like the Chris Harris Jr. tape, right? For most of his career in Denver.
100%.
Is quarterbacks just being like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
And size-wise, do you think maybe size-wise he compares a little bit to Aqib Talib? In terms of length, size. And one of the things I think that you had when you had Aqib that you haven't had ever since then is a guy who matches up favorably with big NFL wide receivers.
Exactly.
It's a tough thing to find out there. Yeah. Because what do you need when you have a corner? You need someone who has quick twitch, quick hips. They can start and stop really fast.
Right.
All these things you need. That usually doesn't come in the form of a large body.
Not at all. especially a long-limbed body. 'Cause
Exactly.
It's harder to be quick twitch when you're long-limbed like that. And you were talking about his arms yesterday, you know.
Dude, his arms are insane.
It's wild.
All of him's insane.
His hips
He's a
strike
freak-
me as like
freak of a person.
incredibly wide, like really muscular in his lower half.
Yeah.
And you see it in press coverage, for example. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a guy, he's going to get his hands on you. He's going to disrupt your rhythm. And, you know, I was talking about it on TDSP, put on the Jamar Chase tape. A guy who's getting all these A-pluses as the 5th overall pick, though the Bengals, too, neglected their biggest need.
Yep.
But yet, the guy who then shut down Jamar Chase, who slips 4 picks later and is arguably just as good, if not a better value, is getting a little more flack. So, you know, we got to stay consistent with that kind
We
of
have
stuff.
a super chat here real quick from CTOD Ghost. He said, RK, Dre, Hank, when was the last time the Broncos secondary was this stacked? And was
easy.
cornerback the right move for future, given Fuller, K-Jack on 1-year deals?
I mean, it was 2015, the last time the secondary was this stacked.
You can't say it's better. You can't say
no,
it's better
you can't
now.
say it's better because you're looking at Chris Harris Jr., Aqib Talib, Bradley Roby. Like, those were your 3 corners.
Yeah. Yeah, and Darian Stewart and TJ Ward.
And then Darian Stewart and TJ Ward. Now,
You're 6 deep.
I do
will
think there's a
take
path.
K-Jack and Justin Simmons over Darian Stewart and TJ Ward.
Absolutely.
In terms of, like, versatility.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You can do. I think you can do a little bit more with that. But Aqib
think
Talib
so.
and Chris Harris Jr. are, like, 2, I will argue, Hall of Fame corners.
Yeah.
You don't have that on this team yet.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
you do have Kyle Fuller, who has been an All-Pro in the NFL in this scheme before. I think that the expectation, if he is not a Pro Bowler, you come out of this very disappointed. This is not like AJ Boye last year.
And AJ Boye was a former Pro Bowler as well.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But that's right. You expect even a little more from Fuller than you did from Boye a year ago.
And then from
Which
there,
is
you
saying
look
something.
at Chris Harris versus Bryce Callahan, and that's where you're like, yeah, you want Chris Harris. And, you know, maybe Roby versus whoever's better between Surtain and Darby. You can make an argument. I think there is a path, but I don't think that they'll be better.
Before the draft starts, people are asking for the draft props from you guys since you guys killed it yesterday.
That's true, Dre. Make us money again.
Yeah, make us some money, Dre.
so really, we don't have as much going for us. Obviously, you know, there's not going to be as many juicy props. What I'm dialed into is Kyle Trask to go in the 2nd round and Kyle Trask to go under his current draft number.
Okay, so we go into player. What do we go into here? Draft props?
Draft position over under all the way to the right there.
Draft position over.
Oh, and they've taken Trask down.
No!
Damn.
So we've got Kellen Monde over under 74.5.
If
I
anything,
know.
take the under, but I'm just, I mean, I didn't make any bets yesterday because I'm too
You think
trigger
take
shy on
the
all this
under,
draft
huh?
stuff. So don't listen to me.
I'd like to know from you, RK, who do you think the Broncos are drafting here? We've got linebacker at plus 125, offensive lineman plus 200, safety plus 500, defensive line plus 600, and then
What's
running
offensive
back
line
plus
at?
900. O-line plus 200.
I like that.
Quarterback plus 2,000. Cornerback, you just put out a hilarious tweet, plus 2,500.
We've already made it. Like, this is the arc of every tweet I put out. Like, people who follow me knowing what I'm talking about, laughing and
yes,
joking at it.
yes.
And then it goes down this terrible rabbit hole where it hits people who don't follow me, who think I'm being serious, and just, you know, goes off the rails.
Yeah.
What was corner at?
Plus 2,500.
That would be actually hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
It would be.
I'd be here for it.
Yeah.
So,
Also-
so they have Kellen Monde going significantly after Davis Mills.
Yeah. I know, it's interesting. Kellen Monde's really an interesting quarterback, too.
Yeah, what's so weird about this process more than him as a quarterback is that I feel like there was like a 1 week period where the hype just went from 4th round guy, 3rd round guy to is he a potential 1st rounder?
For Mills?
Just like in an instant for Monde. And then now it's fallen back off. And Mills had something very similar happen too, and that's what really throws me off is I don't know what to believe at this point. It's like the Peyton Turner thing. Out of nowhere,
Yeah.
people start talking about him 3 weeks ago because Kuiper put him in a mock, and 3 weeks ago it's like, oh well, he's maybe a 4th, 3rd round guy, and meanwhile Kuiper's saying 1st, and then just moves up, and eventually winds up being a 1st round pick.
How about this? playing
Yeah.
position of team's second drafted player. Broncos to draft offense plus 133.
I thought it was interesting that was in the plus as well.
Broncos to draft defense minus 167. Both of these are good value depending on what you think they're going to do.
Yeah.
I think they would go offense.
I would too. I think the biggest
Running back and
remaining
offensive
need-
line, I think, are prime here.
Yeah, I will say defensive line looms large, though, and the fact that none have been selected yet, maybe you get one of the top 2 or 3. That would be my only. But yeah, I think you're right. Like all this linebacker hype, I'm not sure. Like I'm not sure Fangio likes linebackers.
And that's
I like how you whispered that.
don't
Guys,
tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone.
I don't think Vic Fangio likes linebackers. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing though, is because for me, if I were in charge right now, I would have a deal in place to move up and go get JOK right now,
Just took
and it's
all
not
of
even a
the
consideration.
Draft props off the board.
Probably because the draft is starting.
Yeah, that happens.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I would do, but I don't think that that's what the Broncos are going to do, and so then I just overthink it and don't pick a side. That's why I didn't make any of the money yesterday.
I made
There you
lots
go.
of money yesterday. It was
You
fun.
did
Yeah,
because you
it was
listened to
great.
Dre, the Golden Rule.
Do you guys want to take a look at your best player available in these positions, or hold off a little bit? Or what about the big board? I got all these things
Let's
for
do
you.
the big board.
All right.
Best player available. Yeah, the big board. Because I think right now you have 3 pretty special opportunities with Azeez Ojulari. Super late medicals came out on him. There are concerns about an ACL he got senior year of high school. Sounds very similar to Philip Lindsay, frankly, to me. Red shirts as a freshman, never misses a game in college after that red shirt year. Stud pass rusher and athletic as Micah Parsons. So at 13, if you get him cleared medically, I think he could be a great opportunity. Tevin Jenkins, as you see, to me, rated higher than Rashawn Slater because he's more of a pure tackle. He's a nasty SOB to put at right tackle. Phenomenal run defender, moves really well, and pretty good pass protector as well, despite ideal length. And then JOK's right there. So any of those 3 slam dunks. Basically, you're getting 2 first-rounders in one draft on top of the best defender in the class, which would be quite the get. Then we get to the next phase where maybe they're not the same slam dunks. And I'm not going to talk about the center, the 2 wide receivers here, though they're certainly players I regard very highly. I don't think that's a need for the Broncos right now. Ali, let's go to the next page. And here is where it gets interesting because, look, we've got 8 picks. The Broncos said they have 8 guys they like. I'm guessing the 3 guys I just circled won't make it.
And what they said was there are 8 guys, 4 with a first round grade. 8 guys they like, 4 with a first round grade. And I think you've hit on 3 of them. Who do you think the 4th
I have
is?
3 with the first round grade. Let's see. They should be from here. Could it be Samuel Cosme?
It makes sense.
Talented All-American left tackle for Texas. He's got all the pass protection ability in the world. He moves his feet well in run block. I just wish he was more functionally strong, had better length, but you can lots to work with there.
If the Broncos draft a tackle or just really any offensive lineman, like
Let
you
down?
basically no. You basically assume that Mike Munchak really liked this guy.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you just like sign off and you're like, yep,
Exactly.
that works for me.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like linebacker, exactly.
Right.
And to me, if you're going into this season where your quarterbacks are either Bridgewater or Locke, something must be done about that right tackle spot. Like
Yes.
you want to
Well,
have a
but again,
competitive offense
running back too.
despite having a bottom 20 quarterback. That has to be addressed.
Don't forget though that
Yeah,
Juwan James
no, I
could
know.
be the answer to
I
that
know.
question.
Well,
I mean, no one
possible.
trusts that. I don't even know if like Graham Glasgow trusts that, and that like that would be his.
I don't know that I trust Graham Glasgow.
I don't know if I do either.
And
I
that's
don't know
that's
if I
the even tougher part.
trust you to mispronounce his name right after I said it right.
Wait, did I say Glass? Is it Glasgow or Glasgow?
Glasgow.
It's Glasgow, and I said yeah.
Like in Scotland.
Yes,
I thought
exactly.
that was
Yeah.
it's Glasgow. I've been there.
Yeah, I was thinking
I was
last
3.
night, if you got one of these guys, you also have Dalton Reisner, who is a very good right tackle in college. I know, Ryan.
And
I
Moody
know.
too.
We don't do
Moody
that.
too.
But then you have Moody. You
Moody
could put at
too.
left
Okay.
guard. And hasn't
But he played
but
tackle too.
hasn't graduated from like we need a good left guard next to Garrett so he doesn't make as many mistakes,
Maybe.
right?
Or maybe it's all a house of cards. If you
And-
move anything, it all falls apart.
Well,
But, I mean,
those happen
was
to
it-
the best of us.
I mean, Bowles was good. I was kind of disappointed by everybody else on the line. I mean, I had high standards for Reisner. I had high standards for Reisner, admittedly. But I was disappointed by him and Glasgow and Glasgow. Oh, my
You kind of halved it. I liked it.
yeah. And Cushionberry and whoever the tackle was that week. Like, offensive line was a problem, and I think it still is. There's guys you should be hopeful about, but you need 5 of 6 to hit or something. 4 or 5, I guess, because you have Bowles.
Yeah, we got a super chat here from CTOD Ghost. That's Spencer.
Really?
Oh.
One of our
He
members.
says,
named
no one's
Spencer.
done it yet, but reminder, ELE DNVR fam, that stands for Everybody Love Everybody.
Can we, like,
That's
pin
right.
that?
Everybody
please.
love everybody.
Just leave it up.
We need, like, an ELE
it's
graphic.
positive vibes today. This is Spencer. This is who I confuse. I add Michael Spencer.
Oh, yes,
when
of
I
course.
on the Avs podcast. Yeah.
Quickly,
Yeah.
before
Shout
we
out to
jump
you,
into the
Spencer.
draft here, just an Aaron Rodgers update. Everyone wants to talk Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, give it late.
We're going to do plenty of Aaron Rodgers talk
Yeah.
just from now until the door is either opened or
I
closed.
mean,
Until
yeah.
my birthday, June 2nd.
oh,
I mean, past
happy,
that.
Happy birthday. We got Aaron Rodgers.
Like
Yeah,
there's
exactly. That's my hope. Yeah.
The Broncos got Peyton Manning, I think, on my birthday.
wow.
I mean, we're special guys, you know.
What if Aaron Rodgers like says no, I'm not showing up, and the Packers are like, fine, don't show up.
That's
and
possible.
Oh yeah, and then a year from now, everything flares up again, and it's like, well, do they want to take something for him or not? You can trade him now. This could really keep going for a while.
Yeah.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
And I think the deal is only going to get better than what it would have been last night for the Broncos.
Oh, okay, yeah, I agree.
It's only going to get messier for the Packers and Rodgers from
Yeah.
here on out.
There's a lot going on
Until
there.
it either gets resolved, you know, it's going to come to a climax one way or another.
Yeah.
Either gets resolved and they get this extension figured out, or there's just a complete rupture and they got to
Yeah.
go their separate ways.
And to me, yeah, like if the rupture thing makes a whole lot of sense because it got to the point where he's basically demanding a trade, expecting
Yeah.
to go,
Yeah.
and that doesn't feel like a guy who's. I mean, somebody who was leaking to a bunch of reporters, and it feels like it's people within the Broncos who are reaching out, at least partially, and I guess you guys would know better than anybody, but it could also be Aaron Rodgers and his team saying, we want
No.
this extension, let's put the pressure on, and we start flaring everything up. It went so far that I don't think that's it, but who knows what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers is done.
Me too.
In Green Bay.
Me too.
I think literally it's trade him to Denver or do something similar to what the Texans were doing, not like start a legal thing, but basically say like, we aren't going to let you win. And if the Packers want to do that and say like, we're not going to be pushed around by a
No.
player, then he'll just say, okay, cool, I'll go host Jeopardy.
Yeah, and if it gets to that impasse, it could come to where the Packers could say that Rodgers owes them up to $30 million in guarantees. That's where we could go.
And he would
Now-
say, "Oh damn, the next 50 years I'm hosting Jeopardy. Well, the
Right.
first 3 I got to give the
And
salary to these guys."
Frankly, he can if it did get to that, he can withstand the heat more than the Packers if 8 weeks in the Packers are 2-6, right?
yeah,
And now everyone's like, oh, they botched this completely. They
Yes.
haven't traded him.
Yes.
They forced them into retirement. This is going to be to a long legal case that's not going to come to any end.
And
We
now they're
shoulda
a flawed team without the
Right.
picks they could have.
Exactly. And let's be clear, this extension's been on the table for about a month. And this is really where Aaron Rodgers, who's already felt disrespected or not appreciated, it's boiled over.
Yep.
Because he's not being given a trade clause, and he's not being offered a quarterback who already, for the standards around the NFL right now, isn't being offered that kind of, 35+ million a season type of money.
Listen, I really believe that the Packers should look at this and say, can we really get 3 first-round picks for a 37-year-old quarterback who doesn't
nuts,
want to be
man.
here?
It's crazy.
Like,
Especially having drafted the quarterback
having already drafted.
Right.
I mean, this
Yeah.
should be a dream for them.
Totally. Well, and the other thing is, Like, Rodgers wants that kind of money because it ensures you aren't going to try to sign other quarterbacks while I'm here.
Yeah.
Paying your quarterback $40 million means you're the only quarterback we can afford.
Yes, exactly.
So this Jordan Love nonsense is over, you know? But they're not doing that.
yes.
So the
Yeah.
Packers are trying to go on two parallel tracks.
It doesn't
and
work.
Rodgers is saying you either pick one or the other.
And
it's very Favre Rodgers. It's very Brady Garoppolo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
again, I think the Packers would be crazy to sit there and say we're just going to stand our ground because we want to be, for lack of a better term, assholes here.
Yeah.
And we're going to pass up on 3 first-round picks for a 37-year-old quarterback who doesn't want to be here.
Right.
Yeah. And the crazy thing, though, the reason why they want Aaron Rodgers, I mean,
Sure.
he was the MVP last year for one, but talking to my roommate who's a Packers fan last night, he is adamant that right now this is the best roster that Aaron Rodgers has ever had. When you look back, like, there were good receiving cores, but the defense just sucked. There were defenses where there was just nothing else. And the defense, he says, never was all that good. And so for him, he sees it as now is the time that Aaron wants to leave when it feels like we're close. And, you know,
Sure.
there's some homerism
Sure.
and all that, but it is kind of interesting that they wind up in this situation after taking a quarterback last year to set all of this off when
No,
they could have the one more piece that it might take to get over the edge.
Look, we're a couple bad plays away from not being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Kevin King,
a matchup
draft a
doesn't
corner.
go their way. They face anyone but the Buccaneers, they probably win. So it's a really interesting situation.
It is.
But I don't
went
think
to sleep
it's
last
done.
night thinking about Aaron Rodgers throwing to Jerry Jeudy. I just can't get out of my head.
Be
it
incredible.
makes sense.
I mean,
it just feels like it fits.
him
That's
at a
what I
mile
mean. Yeah,
high.
it
would
feels-
be
The way that Aaron Rodgers
incredible.
throws with the way
Yeah.
that Jerry Jeudy runs route,
Yeah.
it feels like it was a match made in
it
heaven.
does.
or
Like
even
the-
Sutton.
both of them were put on this
Yeah.
earth to be teammates.
But
well,
yeah.
Sutton too. But the back shoulder throws.
Yeah,
to Sutton,
that's
are
what
you
I'm
kidding me?
saying. That's what I'm saying.
God, I hate this.
Um,
I love it, but in 2 seconds, I'm going to hate it when I realize that it's
And
30% chance.
I think
Real
it-
quick,
Yes.
40.
the draft has officially started. The
Yeah.
Jags are on the clock.
Jags are on the
so
clock.
let's look at some of these players best available before they become
We were like
irrelevant.
really working into like
Okay,
a
sure.
fever dream there.
Sure, we
about
can
Aaron
do
Rodgers.
that.
but they're about to
I'm out
become
of it and I hate
irrelevant,
it.
and you know we spent some time on them. So,
All right,
We can do that.
what do you want first?
They'll be relevant for a while. Where should we go, fellas? We've got some big need spots: linebacker, edge rusher, offensive line, running back. You said you're feeling offense
I am
with
feeling
this
offense.
first pick.
Yep.
Let's go to offensive line first, offensive tackle specifically, and see who the best remaining are. As you can see, Tevin Jenkins, 15th overall on my board. That would be insane value for me. But you couldn't go wrong with Samuel Cosme or Spencer Brown. Brown really feels like the super long Alejandro Villanueva kind of offensive tackle that Munchak would love to groom. He's a beast in as a run blocker. Really made some big strides in the week at the Senior Bowl. You like him. James Hudson, big time recruit as a defensive tackle, goes to Michigan, changes schools, converts to the offensive line. His upside is otherworldly, but still pretty raw, needs to be developed. Stone Forsythe, long offensive tackle, good in pass pro, not great as a run blocker. I worry about him as the Broncos right tackle. Eichenberg has been a stud at Notre Dame, really good run blocker. Walker Little, former highly regarded recruit, has all the talent, but I'm a bit skeptical. And then, yeah, we have kind of some prospects that we can get into a little more come round 3.
Walker Little, why? Why hasn't it all come together for him?
Injuries
Is it a
in a
lo-
lot of
okay.
ways.
And the opt-out.
Injuries and the opt-out. So
I was gonna say, is there
we haven't seen
a-
him play in 2 years.
Is there a love of
at
football
100%
question here?
Could be.
And then I'm not saying that because of the
I mean-
opt-out, because I don't like doing that with
No,
guys.
no, not
I mean-
because
But
of the opt-out.
because he hasn't really improved ever.
Yeah.
I mean, but the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
is, we haven't seen him play football in 2 years.
I mean, he played some in 2019, but he wasn't
Yeah.
at his best, and part
For
of
a
that
little,
was dealing
yeah.
with some injuries. Yeah, so you got to
True.
go back to almost 2018.
Exactly.
That's
And the tape looks
out.
good,
Oh, yeah.
though. And the tape looks good. But see, like, that's the thing, is
Yeah, it looks good. Is
Does
it
that-
much better than Cosme?
it probably does mean third round instead of second. Because you do have to go back that far. You still like the upside. The upside's still right there. It's just the odds of hitting it are slim.
It'll be interesting to see what position
Slimmer.
there's a run on here in round 2.
Yeah.
Is it going to be corners? Is it going to be wide receivers? Is it going to be one of these need spots for the Broncos, like offensive tackle or like running back? Let's go to the best running backs available right now, as we have under 4 minutes
This
left
is an exciting
on the clock
list.
for Jacksonville.
It's crazy. Like it's be so much smarter, I think, to get an offensive lineman than a running back with this pick. If they get an offensive
Round
lineman,
3 would be great.
yeah, I would be so disappointed. And it's just because it'd be boring. And it's honestly my least favorite quality about myself is that this exact thing, if they take a lineman, I will be disappointed no matter who it is and when, except Penny Sewell. And it's just
they're not
because
getting him.
it's not fun.
Gone.
And I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate that
you're-
about myself.
You're too young.
I know.
Young to fully appreciate the offensive
line
line pick.
pick.
And I know they're good. I know that that's the smart thing to
Terrible.
do, but you see a running back and you're like, oh, I can just picture it. I can watch highlights all night. But yeah,
I mean, they just couldn't like pick up a blitz from the right side last year.
there were some problems last year. They
I
also
like
couldn't run the
Elijah
football.
Wilkinson as a person, but watching him play football was not very fun last
And I
year.
remember we were invested in some Panthers game, and it was like, oh, Teddy's got this. He's going to cover the spread. And then, like, he just kept getting hit, and it was like, oh, man, this is brutal.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want Teddy to sit back and just get brutalized when you're trying to come back from a 10-point deficit in the fourth. you
There's
know?
a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL who you say, if you put them into like a really perfect situation,
Like
they could
Goff.
thrive.
Yeah.
Yes. Goff, when he started, even Dak, although I think Dak has leveled up since then,
Totally.
but Dak as a rookie wasn't really doing anything special. He was just, I mean, his jersey was clean after every game.
Yep.
And he's like, cool, I just hand it off to Zeke. I get plenty of time in the pocket whenever I have to throw. My receivers are open.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
I wonder what Stafford's going to look like with the Rams, because I've always thought he's overrated. Like I feel like everybody has like a sneaky love for Matthew Stafford, and everyone's like, yeah, I do like that, and I'm like, I mean, he's a guy, and I think I'm about to be either proven wrong or
I think he's a really good quarterback who has been in a wasteland his whole career.
yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
It's going to be really interesting.
It is.
That NFC West is going to be really interesting. You know, that's another thing I want to talk about is quarterback types. And from what we know now, it seems like Lance was their guy, yeah?
Yes. Which I'm so happy
Yeah.
because he was my guy too.
Every decision in a vacuum.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
like Matt Ryan and like Trey Lance.
Sure.
Yep.
At the same, and we know Elway's part of those conversations as well. Why wouldn't you consult with John Elway? It's just they've liked Drew Lock, the big arm guy. They've liked Trey Lance, the big arm guy. They like Paxton Lynch. And I come back to why not Josh Allen?
Dude, it was a reaction. A
I
reaction
mean, it
to
was that
Paxton Lynch.
column I wrote that
Yes.
offseason 2 months before the draft was don't let the Paxton Lynch mistake compound into another mistake on Josh Allen.
And they did.
Yeah.
And it's understandable.
Absolutely.
It's understandable
No.
to look at Josh Allen after you just got Paxton Lynch. But you should also have the best knowledge of anyone out there as to why it didn't work for Paxton Lynch.
Yeah.
And then you got to go find out, does Josh Allen have those traits? And it's very clear that he doesn't.
I feel like quarterbacks, though, a lot of it, like you scout a lot and you figure out maybe
Tyson
what
Campbell.
who has
Tyson
the best
Campbell, yeah.
odds.
Did you say it's
Campbell.
plus 500 to go
Plus
first?
500 to go to be the first pick. Jenkins was the favorite, then Ojulari became the favorite. And it's Campbell, which is great for the Broncos. I mean, a run on cornerbacks here would be
Fantastic, yeah.
magical.
That would be good.
All of my
That would be
favorite prospects that I tweeted out.
But yeah, I do feel like a portion of the Josh Allen thing is like Bills good work. Your scouts were right, but also how much is the scouts being like good and how much is it worked out? And a lot of the first round quarterbacks, it does feel like at least half of it's just like straight up lottery ticket.
Well, and why did it work out? Because they were patient.
And they were good.
Brian Dable. I don't think that can be
that
understated.
too.
They
Yeah.
were patient, they were good, and they had Brian Dable.
We had Brian Dable.
Again, there's a lot of factors that go into this. But patience, I think, was a really big
It
one
was.
here.
Yeah,
it was
for
It
sure.
would have been really easy for them
It's huge.
to cool on him after year 2.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Tyson Campbell,
Oh, look, Patrick Surtain in our chat.
Patrick Surtain.
I'm sorry.
Correct
Pat.
him, Pat.
I'm
Come
sorry,
on.
Pat.
Don't let him do
mispronouncing
this
his
to
name.
you.
I'm sorry, Pat.
We had some people actually asking if that was him. So
Didn't he misspell his
do
name
not
at
think
first?
so. Yes, he did.
I,
Okay, yeah. That was the giveaway to me.
I would expect the
He goes
Jets
by
to
Pat.
I would expect the Jets to try and trade out of this one. They moved up for Vera Tucker yesterday from 18 to 14.
Interesting.
They didn't have to give up their high second round pick. I would expect them to try to move down, maybe even in the Broncos range, and gain back. I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos move back here either. Especially if, we'll see who the four.
No,
They do.
They're
with
not
first
moving
round
back.
grades
They're not
are.
moving back because they said we have 8 guys that we like. We're picking 8th in the round. That
Well,
was
that's
kind of.
true.
I
Yeah,
felt
that's
like
true.
that was almost a message to other teams, like, don't bother calling me tonight. Let me sleep. I'm not trading back. We'll see, though. I would just be surprised.
I can't.
These
The
draft,
light is in the way of the words, and I'm
these
trying to
draft
put together
hats
what's
are
happening.
so weird.
Oh, they're terrible.
they
You don't
suck.
have to be nice. They're bad.
It's like,
they're
we
bad.
just put on a 7-Eleven trucker
That's
hat.
exactly the vibes I got.
Except that it's
yeah.
also fitted. Trucker
Oh,
hat.
it's fitted?
That's what people were saying. Is like, this isn't even a trucker hat. It's just a mesh back fitted hat with a
I mean,
terrible.
I like a good mesh back, but
it's a snap.
the
It
way
needs a snap.
yeah, just the way that they designed it, it has that weird like patch style thing on the front that really gives it
Yeah.
7-Eleven vibes.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
does.
No disrespect to 7-Eleven,
None
Henry's
at
main
all.
source of nutrition.
Oh, I have
100%.
broken the habit. I'll have you know. Been eating a lot of Panera.
Whoa.
Yeah. No free advertising. Sorry, Allie.
Healthy
Oh.
boy.
It was
I'm not
terrible.
the one
That's
who
why I
cares
keep
about
going
that.
back.
It's on.
What do you like
Oh.
at that bread place?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you get a sandwich and then a side of baguette?
that's what most people think. I love first of all macaroni and cheese. Like that's why you go. But then on
I
top of
haven't
that,
had their mac and cheese.
it is
Never
the
have.
best of any of them. Like people
Wow.
talk about like Chick-fil-A and you go there and it's like
Chick-fil-A's
this
mac and cheese
is what
sucks.
you
Shut
like. People
up.
like this. But yeah, you
Shut up
get that.
about what?
The
Chick-fil-A is amazing.
Chick-fil-A
oh
is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. The macaroni and
yeah,
cheese.
no
The
doubt.
macaroni and cheese.
Why would you waste your time on it when there's other options there?
6th round pick
You
at
guys
best.
are making
Yes.
me hungry.
I know. We
So,
might have to take like
Please
a
don't eat any of the elephants.
maybe we take a between round 2 and 3 break to eat.
I love that.
yeah.
Love that idea.
French onion soup though. That's what you pair it with. It is very good.
Oh, I do
Very
love a good French
I know,
onion
me
soup.
too. It's my favorite soup of all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good. I didn't
Let's
make
talk
it to be a
about-
French onion guy.
Allie,
Most people
we've got
don't.
like 7 hours here. We can talk a little bit about soup.
If you want all my Christian Barrymore thoughts right now though, just let me know.
I think anything football is better than Henry's
Yeah,
that
you're
bread
honest.
place takes.
That is true. That
have
is
you
true.
have you had the French onion soup at Applebee's?
I would never.
It's actually the best one. They melt the cheese just perfectly over the top. It's one big bread crouton, nice and soft, always
Wow.
hot.
This should be your own like YouTube channel. Let's go to the
Animals.
interior defensive line because Henry's been talking about Onwuzurike and
Sure have.
apparently as Barrymore takes, and I'm gonna take 2 bites of sandwich while we're off camera. and you
Okay, we'll be counting. I think that the reason Barrymore's interesting to me, not because I'm in love with him. He's a big guy, and that goes a long way. And there's a lot of things that you can like about. The thing is, there's a lot of people who like Christian Barrymore, and I think that means that there's a real chance that the Broncos see him as that 4th first round guy. And I think there's probably like maybe 10 candidates even for that. Maybe not that many, but I do think that Barrymore is in that group. And from there, I really like Carlos Basham. We've talked about this a lot. What he did at the
Boogie
Senior Bowl
Basham.
won me over.
Yeah.
I'm all the way in.
Yeah.
I just worry that if the
You-
Broncos pick him, people will bash him.
Could be, yeah. Could be. Henry.
Yeah. Glad you're worried.
That's not a concern of yours.
No, I have other concerns. Like where is Oso Digizua on there? Not in your top 150.
Ooh.
Not in your top 150.
Oso Digizua. No,
Maybe he would have been on the edge. Interesting.
He
Why?
dropped out. Just because I think he's mostly an interior penetrator, not a full-time player.
That's fair.
I worry about his ability to make the field first 2 downs. Elijah Moore, Molden.
Moore. Elijah Moore off the board to the Jets.
So they've
Love to see it.
given Zach Wilson an offensive lineman and a star slot wide receiver here.
Not even my favorite Moore, though.
No. Rondale is lit.
Not a bad take.
Rondale is
It
lit.
was, I think Spano sent us a video of Rondale Moore and was like, yo, this guy's insane. I'm like, yeah, we've been watching him for 2 years.
Yeah, Rondale is
Not to mention he
crazy.
squats over 500 pounds. He's like
Yeah.
a freak of nature.
Well, and the thing is, I feel like we first heard that like 2-3 years ago.
Yes.
He probably squats like 600 now.
Yeah, dude.
At this point, my goodness.
Oh, God, he's awesome.
He's
He
another
He is.
guy who, like, his lower
It
half.
kind of kills me that there's like a 1% chance of the Broncos drafting him at
I
best.
know.
But there's a lot of people you like on the board. If he goes, that just means, I mean, I don't think either of these two were part of those four
Doesn't
first
he
rounders.
have a hamstring thing, though, too?
Ooh, I don't know.
Rondale.
I do remember him missing games because of it. I'm not sure if it's something
Yeah.
that's long-term concerning,
Because
though.
the only way I could say that maybe the Broncos would go with a receiver like that is because of KJ Hamler's hamstring issues.
Yeah.
That are just so scary. I love KJ Hamler.
Speedsters, though, man.
But, I mean,
Hamstrings
when-
are terrifying.
If you're going to be a speed guy and your problem is hamstring injuries, it just
we
it's
have
really
a
scary to
trade
count
with this Atlanta pick at 35.
We want to see the Broncos moving up to take JOK right here. That's my thought.
that
And
would
I don't know
be-
that it adds up because, again, they like 8 guys. There's
No.
4 first-round guys that they
Right.
like. Tough to believe that any of them went off the board. They could probably wait and trade up.
I tell
in
you,
a couple
I think
picks.
Ojulari
Broncos.
would be insane.
It is?
Broncos are on the clock, baby.
Give me
Let's
JOK
go.
right now. Give me JOK right
Again,
now.
Oh
I've
my
said
goodness.
Three
Tevin
slam
Jenkins
dunks.
is a good-
Tevin
yep.
Jenkins, JOK, Ojulari, who really, to me,
I mean,
if this team was pursuing Leonard Floyd in free agency, I think Ojulari is exactly the kind of edge they'd enjoy.
yeah. At the same time, though, if Vic is signing off on JOK, that makes me really, really excited
Yes.
about JOK
Yes.
because again, I have him higher than those other guys. I do think that JOK, if they took him at 9, I said, I probably could have traded down and got him, but I don't hate that. To get him here would be incredible.
Pick is in. They didn't waste any time. Let's go.
Come on.
Why would you? Why would you?
Come on.
Come on. Where are you at, Mike Clist?
I would,
So Ryan, he said JOK. I've said Ojulari. Who would your pick be? Kellen
Jenkins.
Monde?
oh.
Jenkins, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or Javonte Williams.
Javonte
Yeah.
Williams would be incredibly fun.
That would be fun. That would be really fun.
Come on.
Everyone keeps just. We know they traded up to 35. Everyone,
boy.
that's all the tweets I see. I just keep seeing Broncos. It lights me
know.
up a little bit.
I know.
Here we go. I hope. Hopefully, they didn't have to trade their third here.
Yeah, hopefully for sure.
Let's make this a short show.
Come on. Give me JOK.
And Henry, I mean,
Give me JOK right here.
I want JOK as well.
there's a difference between liking 8 guys by having 4 first-round grades, right?
Yeah.
And maybe even a highish first-round grade.
That's where I had JOK. We mocked him to 9 happily many a time.
Again, any
Did
of
I
those?
call it? Did I call it?
Is it Tevin?
Javonte Williams.
Broncos expected to take him.
Wow.
I don't think they're taking advantage of the value. I'll admit that. But
So
they-
Miami
it'll be
was
fun.
going to go Javonte Williams. That's why the Broncos jumped him.
And he was clearly the best running back remaining.
true.
This is
ETN,
a-
Najee Harris go
Yep.
ahead, and he was
I think it was Josina Anderson who tweeted out this morning that a coach told her that they think Javonte Williams is Christian McCaffrey-like ability, the type of guy who could go 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing in the same year.
wow.
I would
that's
disagree.
the
I mean,
one of the-
that's an
Yeah,
insane comp.
Yeah.
But
the receiving ability is where he needs to be developed. though.
Exactly. That's
And it looks like this trade is for Broncos received 35 and 219. So that's, this early second and a 7th, essentially.
Uh-huh.
For 40th and 114. 114 must be a 4th.
Fourth, yep.
Early 4th.
and what did it? What was the other one? The Broncos. gave
Broncos
up?
got a 7th and
And-
35 for 40 and a 4th.
It's not bad.
I'll send you the tweet, Ali.
It's not bad.
Um,
Would have been great for JOK, but again, I
there were
I would have
3 home runs, but there was a huge drop off after. And you see,
Yeah.
my comp is Jay Ajayi. I think of a healthy Jay Ajayi at his best.
That's not going to get anyone excited.
I feel like that's
if
the
anyone
comp, though.
remembers what the Eagles did that
Yeah.
year to the Broncos at Mile High Stadium with Jay Ajayi just running rampant over them, it should get them excited because That guy was really talented. And yeah, I mean, he's a downhill runner. He can break tackles. He has really incredible speed. We're going to fire up that Miami game where he just lit them up. And yeah, we just got to see how much can he develop his receiving ability. The other knock I have on him is he runs too violently. When that's a knock, it's like, well, come on, son. Sometimes just run out of bounds. You don't need to truck everyone. That's the kind of guy you can get excited about.
You want juice, you want excitement, you want spark. This is your guy. He is the definition of electric. He is so electric. Now, we can get into, and we will here in a second, the idea of trading up for a running back this early in the draft, 35. But as I just tweeted out, Broncos fans are going to love watching this guy play. He is fun. And this offense needs fun. I know everyone, you can say anything about the offense. People will say, but the quarterback suck. This offense needs fun. This kid is fun.
I mean, they needed another running back too, like clearly Melvin Gordon, not someone you can trust for more than 12 weeks. And this is a running back of the future. And look,
I will say,
let's say hypothetically you found some sort of quarterback who became available, for whatever reason by trade. You've got everything in place for a star quarterback to come in, take this offense, and go bananas with it.
yes.
Now you just added yet another weapon, right? I mean, the young core of playmakers on this offense is pretty impressive.
Sorry, Mike Boone.
Not sorry.
I will never apologize.
We expect A+ special teams play, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I have the trade details on the screen.
Okay.
I have the trade
de-
details on the screen for anyone who didn't hear.
So pick 35 and 219 for 40 and 114.
Yeah.
According to Mace, that's 566 points in draft value going to the Falcons, 550 to the Broncos. So, not bad.
You always lose a little bit when you're going up to get your guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally honest trade. It seems
right.
like they didn't have to overpay to get up there to me.
Man, I just hate... This is just another pick that people are going to whine about because they don't like the value.
I will say
but
that
people are going to love this kid.
I will say the people in the chat are hyped for
No,
this.
I imagine people are pretty excited. I mean,
Yeah,
They
I do
are
think so.
excited for this one.
I know I personally am just lower on Javonte than I think anybody else on the draft podcast was. Like, it's not a terrible pick or anything. It's just that with those guys on the board, and I think there's just such a steep drop-off. I think there's a steep drop-off between Najee and Etienne and another one between Etienne and Javonte. And there is some separation between Javonte and the rest of this class.
But there are
and
people...
I do think third, fourth round, that's where there's going to be real value. I don't see this as a plus value.
There are people out there who viewed him as the best.
Yeah.
running back in
there
the
are.
class.
There are. And
Yeah.
I think on the podcast there were.
I think ETN and him are neck and neck, too, and the Dolphins quickly turn in their pick. They select Javon Holland. Oh, snap. First safety to be drafted. He was plus 500. Damn it. I knew that all along.
And I told you I loved him.
Knew that all along.
Yes.
Yeah. Shocks many people, including the bookmakers. Yeah.
Man, so this is what I'm doing right now. If I'm like John Elway, right? We assume John Elway has Aaron Rodgers' number. He just texts him and he's like, you want to know how many weapons have they drafted for you in the last 10 years? Oh, 0? In the last, what is this, 4 or 3 drafts since Cortland Sutton?
Since Sutton.
This is his 4th year because he expires after this year. So he's played
the
3. We're going into 4.
4th draft since his draft? Or no, 3rd draft since his draft.
Third.
Okay.
Since, yes.
So since that draft, you go Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy,
No, you forgot
KJ
Noah
Hamler,
Fant.
Javonte Williams, and Noah Fant. The Broncos have drafted 5 weapons in the first 2 rounds in the last 3 drafts.
For Drew Lock. Imagine what they do for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
They don't need to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've got AJ texting me that Javonte Williams is Eddie George, which is quite the comp. But
That is
that's
quite the comp.
kind of like aggressive.
That's what I'm
running
saying.
style.
The Javonte hive
Yeah.
is
No.
strong.
It is.
The
It is.
people that love him
It's extremely
adore him, and it's very clear that George Payton and his staff were in that hive. I mean, they loved this guy. They jumped up and they said, look, if Javante's there, I mean, I assume they were saying all along, if Javante falls to 35, we're going to get him. And I love that they love him. I love that they made a convicted pick here.
Yeah. I love that too.
Yep.
And I mean, this is a GM for the Broncos that's coming from the same front office that was able to get Dalvin Cook in the second round.
Yeah. And
And turn him into a very good player. So I'd be excited to check out a few of these highlights I'm sending you, Al Dog.
Pick is in for the Eagles.
Oh,
and we've
okay.
got-
The pick
That is a
then
good one.
I believe.
Landon Dickerson.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's
Replacement for
that's-
Jason Peters.
Wow.
I would have gone Creed Humphrey first. Would you have, Dre?
Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't you last night say you like Dickerson better? No, you said, okay. you
I
said-
like Dickerson. The
Yeah, me too.
injuries are troubling.
They are.
They've
Also
added
6'6"
so
center.
many Alabama guys.
How tall is Hurts?
They now have Hurts, Dickerson, and Devontae Smith. The whole Alabama hive right there. That's incredible. And more interesting than the Eagles pick, which I think is a fine pick.
Yeah, it's fine.
It appears that at this next pick, 38, for the Bengals, the Patriots have moved up. So I'll be very
that
interested to see who the
JOK.
Rondale?
I bet it's JOK. Oh, it could be Rondale too, though.
They
That
need
would
to
make
get
some
Mac
sense.
Jones a weapon.
They do.
Rondale.
They do. That could be.
That'd be outstanding.
My one note on Dickerson, we talked about this on the draft pod at least once, but
Yeah.
a 6'6" center, you want a tall quarterback. Do you want 6'1" Jalen Hurts? To me, I guess they played together already and it was fine. But did,
I actually
did
think
they
he was
cross
at
over?
Florida State. No.
Yeah, I don't think they did cross over. So yeah, yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, that's a question a lot of people talk about, is how much does size matter or height matter? Is there such a thing as too tall for an interior offensive lineman?
Yeah,
I think it can get a little overblown.
I know.
But,
It will be interesting.
Ali,
6'1".
Could we go to those couple highlights? I've
Pat?
here. I'll put them in
Pat?
production assignments for you. No, in of Javante. Just
Yes. Give me the Javante Williams
I don't see
highlights.
any.
Just
Some of the
to
best highlights.
to consume some.
You'll see.
quick
They're good highlights. Yeah, and my thing, if you had told me the Broncos are going to trade their second and fourth for the Javante before the draft, I would have been like, yeah, that's cool. It's just the fact that he was like 10th on my board at this point. There's an initial sting, and that's what I'm feeling now. Once that fades, I will be very happy and excited about this pick.
Yeah,
that's where
just
I'm
watch
at.
these highlights and you'll feel much better.
Trust. I've been having them going down here.
Are we ready?
Yeah, let's do it. So this is Javante Williams, key game in the ACC. It's number 17 Carolina against number 10 Miami. Miami has, lots
just
of
one
talent
game?
on this defense. Yeah, it's just the one game because he ran
23
for
carries, 230.
200
Because he averaged 10
36.
yards per carry, Ryan.
Oh my god,
And I
that's
mean,
like
look at him
Madden
get with
numbers.
patience, and then
Woo!
he's just
Yeah.
bouncing
Get off
off everything.
Yeah.
That's the kind of violent runner he is. And the piece that I wrote today previewing day 2, I described him as his running style is he runs like a train without brakes. He just
a good thing to run like.
unleashed, man.
But he's got more moves than that.
Trains do
for
not
sure.
have moves. They are
For sure.
famously very limited in the moves they can make.
Yeah, got to stay on one track.
Forward, backward.
Oh, look at that explosion.
Yeah. No, and he has
Don't
the
get
long
caught.
speed.
He gets caught.
Don't get
He-
caught.
yeah.
He's going to get caught.
He does, and gets caught by ACC defenders.
We do
Again,
have
good- he's fine.
the
He's
Patriots
good.
pick.
Don't start the
You guys
ACC
are interested
defender.
in
I know.
Well, after we finish this Javante Williams moment,
Yeah. So, I
love
mean,
the 2.5 on him too. That looks great.
and I mean, obviously, you see he's got the speed to pop it
Can't have
outside.
it in Denver.
I mean,
Why not?
can
Nothing,
we
right?
can we
Oh,
rewind
yeah.
that just 1
lame.
second,
Yeah.
Allie?
I forgot that. I was thinking Chris Harris Jr.
Earlier.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
So look at him here. Change of direction
Oh.
there.
On a dime.
then jumps,
More
bounces.
moves than a train, like I said.
Bounces.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
nasty.
incredible contact balance. As I was saying, burst to take it outside, power, power low to the ground kind of runner, can
Yeah,
take
done.
it up the middle as well. If you develop him as a wide receiver, and it sounds like some of the guys you're talking from inside NFL buildings have are bullish on his ability to develop as a wide receiver, this could really be, a high-end back.
yeah. Let me see if I can find that exact quote from Josina.
And the Patriots move up to take Christian Barmore. Is that right,
Yep.
Alan?
That-
Wow.
That feels like a Patriots pick.
Yeah. And surprising to have a first defensive tackle go 38th overall. That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Pretty rare.
From Josina, NFL team source just now to me on UNC running back Javonte Williams. Quote, he's the best running back in the draft. He has the ability to be a 1,000-yard rusher and receiver just like Christian McCaffrey. He's as physical as Nick Chubb, as gifted as Alvin Kamara on third down, and as patient as Le'Veon Bell. He's the mother effing truth.
I mean,
Javante's hive is extremely strong.
That person literally just said he's going to be like a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
do you think that person is a
Broncos
Broncos
team source.
executive?
That's
See, and
exactly-
that, was that George Payton? It would be my question.
I wonder if George Payton would say he's the MF truth.
Yeah, but somebody ask that. When we next hear from George Payton, somebody say, would you say Javonte Williams is the MF truth?
Andre, did you want me to pull up those stats?
Can I just read that again? There's a lot to
Sure,
process
yeah.
there because
Oh.
when I read this earlier
that's
today,
another clip actually from the highlight we saw already. So no, we're good.
when I read this earlier today, like I just stopped at CMC because I was like, this is an insane comp. But I didn't see the rest of it where he goes, he has the ability to be a 1,000-yard rusher and receiver like Christian McCaffrey. He's as physical as Nick Chubb, as gifted as Alvin Kamara on third down, and as patient as Le'Veon Bell. Like,
So if
Yeah,
you
as
now
gifted
could
as
add
Kamara
anything
on third
else,
down is pretty crazy.
yeah,
all of that is crazy.
All of that is
But that's from a person in an NFL building. Very well could have been the Broncos.
Is there one more thing that you could add to that? Like one more trait from another player that you even need? Like maybe just Reggie Bush's
as
speed.
strong as Derrick
Yeah.
Henry.
Yeah. Like, yeah. You're so
pretty
close to the peak there, though.
I'm telling you, that person described there is like runs for 2,000 yards in a year.
Look, guys, they're building an identity here. They're building
pick
an
is in
identity.
for
A-
the
A
Bears.
defensive first, run heavy. That's a great pick by the Bears right there. Bears having
trade up with Carolina to then get this pick.
Bears having one of my favorite drafts,
Tevin
which
Jenkins.
I've never said before in my life. Jenkins, man, he's just a nasty right tackle prospect. Mini Jedrick Wills, he's just a little smaller. But man, there's a lot of skill in that guy. And seems like they're trusting Juwan James coming into this.
So for the Bears, Carolina trades 39 and 151 to Chicago for 52, 83, and 204.
Wow. Yeah, so the Bears basically ended their draft.
I love the Bears, being aggressive here and trying to give Matt Nagy a chance.
Yep. Yeah, while making sound picks themselves, not. Also, this is a team that hasn't had picks for a minute,
JOK's still there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
I wanted the Eagles to draft him if the Broncos were going to draft him.
Yeah,
I'm surprised
JOK,
he was
I'm-
there.
I wonder what's up.
Well,
I mean, fit. It's got to just be fit.
I think there's a lot of overreaction to Isaiah Simmons last year.
Huh. That's true.
I mean, that's how the NFL operates and things,
Yeah. I've got some stats pulled up for Javonte, just some receiving stuff. So he was on the field this season, 242 passing snaps. 168 ran a route, 64 pass protection. Not sure there's too much there. But I thought it was interesting that he actually lined up as a slot receiver on, I think, 13 plays throughout the course of the season, one per game, which is interesting. So they do use him a little bit. He wound up with 300 yards in 11 games receiving. So there is some stuff there. He only had 3 drops. Average depth of target 1.4 yards. So they aren't like running him downfield or anything. But I don't know. Maybe
What are his specs?
maybe there is some there.
Do we have the player card, Allie, for Javonte Williams?
He's bulky, isn't he?
I'm
Here.
I'm so interested in his build.
This says 5'10", 220.
5'10", 220.
That does too.
He
Cool.
moves so quick for 5'10", 220.
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 bench reps, too. Had really nice 36-inch vertical, over 10-foot broad. Ran a 4.57 and 409 shuttle and 6.93 3-cone, which is a slot receiver level. So
When I heard that,
he tested pretty well.
when I read those specs, I thought like Maurice Jones-Drew. Maurice Jones-Drew was 5'7", 210.
Yeah,
He was thick,
yeah.
He was.
Smaller, for sure.
He was
but
thick.
220. I mean, I guess he was like squeezed down 30 inches, but still, that is a thick running back for how quickly he moves. He's
For
not
sure.
exactly fast in terms of the finishing long run speed, but the quickness is absolutely there.
Our guy Zach Stevens tweeting out Javonte Williams was his high school valedictorian, graduating with a 4.6 GPA.
So there's a little
On and off
we're,
field.
We're starting to see a trend here that we might be able to start rolling off of for George Payton.
Character.
Patrick Surtain also considered to be extremely smart.
Yeah.
Also, related-ish, but not what anybody wants to hear. 4.6 is a GPA. What are we doing? You can get to a 4.0. That's a perfect GPA. No more of this, like, pumping up because you took a harder class. Like, come on.
Not the
Ugh.
time.
I know.
Not
But
the
4.6,
No,
yeah.
not the time
Cool.
for that, Rand.
4.6
Yeah.
is crazy.
It is, but
Atlanta
maybe
gets
somebody had a
Richie Grant.
5.3.
Wow.
Why even have a system?
Atlanta, who trades down with the Broncos, get Richie Grant.
Huh.
So there you go. Trevon Moehrig isn't even the second safety taken.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Sure.
So, yeah, Javonte Williams, 5'10", 220. He's a bad dude, man. He's a bad
I'm
dude.
I'm excited about this pick.
You said 2% drop?
3 drops on 24 targets.
That's more
Or
than
24 receptions.
so many
Yeah,
targets.
that's not
30
a percentage.
targets.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah, no, I
10%.
mean, pretty small sample size, too.
yeah, very small. sample size.
AJ here in the comments tuning in saying Hank crying about GPA like he got a 3.8 in high school and got dissed for
What
it.
what was your high
Like a
school
3.2, 3.1.
Yeah, that's about what mine was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how mine was.
Anything
too.
more than that's just unreasonable. like
All right.
Wait,
Michaela.
And then
what-
you went to Arizona State?
what did she say? Did she say 4.3?
Yeah.
Kick her out. Stop at 4. Everything, it's like, what's his, I don't even know. Rate something 1 to 10 and somebody's just like a 12. Like, you can't do that. There's a
Right.
system in place. It goes to 4.
Well, now it goes to 5, Hank.
Or does it? Or does it go to, or because of the number of classes you could possibly take, is it 5.3 at that school and 4.6? Valedictorian means something. I'm not going to complain about that.
Zach going back to the well here. Senior year in high school for Javonte Williams. 2,271 rushing yards, 27 touchdowns, a 4.6 GPA, and valedictorian.
Wow. How is he rated in the recruiting cycle?
Yeah, how does he end up at North Carolina after
Well,
that? By the
Mac
way,
Brown.
North Carolina, those uniforms are so beautiful. That's the second best part about watching Javonte Williams highlights.
Mac Brown's bringing him back, man.
Here's who the Lions drafted. I'm not even going to pretend to say his name.
Onwuzurike.
Oh, Levi Onwuzurike. Yeah, to the Lions.
Look at
Huh.
those Pac-12 boys, just one after another.
Nice pick. Nice pick. Yeah, now we're seeing the run
Oh.
starting. Now we're seeing the... I'm not seeing him ranked by ESPN recruiting-wise.
Stop looking at ESPN recruiting
yeah,
rankings.
ESPN recruiting, that is the worst thing ESPN does, and
By
that's
far.
including the app. That's including...
Ooh, the app
like,
sucks too.
like the fact that they're
So,
included in the composite. Like, they'll just forget about, like, 4 stars that other people have.
yeah,
We
There's just
have
lapses.
they're just not invested in it.
we
No.
have Philip Lindsay throwing some shade.
You guys know
Yeah.
nothing.
And I was
the
gonna bring
people
up
wanna
Phil,
talk
but
about it.
it's good vibes only. But I will say,
See,
like,
the people, as you can read from
Yeah.
the comments, people have said, talk about this.
What is there to say?
look, what you need to know about Philip Lindsay is he's probably gonna do a lot of things between now and the end of his career that Broncos fans aren't gonna like because he exists with a chip on his shoulder. Like, that is what drives him every day, is that
Yeah.
chip on his shoulder. So, absolutely, he's going to use this to motivate himself. He's going to be pissed that the Broncos let him go. Basically said, hey, you know, I'm sure what they told him is like, look, we're going with Melvin, this, that, the other thing. And now they draft one. And that's going to piss him off, and it's going to drive him. And this won't be the end of, like, he's probably going to have a quote whenever the Texans play the Broncos that he's got something to prove and he wants to take it to him. And that's just who he is. So, he's got a right. I mean, I don't know if he has a right to be upset, but
Yeah.
He
was not put
let
in
me
a
ask you
position to
this.
succeed. You can be upset about that.
Would you rather paid Philip Lindsay $3 million and saved your second round pick and used it on something else?
JOK? Yeah, absolutely. To me, but I would take JOK without Phil. So
the Giants
cares what I say?
trade.
Let me just really quick add this in. Pat Shurmur didn't want him. Straight up,
Yeah.
like when they said like, hey, like we can have him cheap, he's just like, I don't want him.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't gonna work.
Oh no. Like, they should not have brought him back if Shurmur doesn't want him. I just think Shurmur is wrong to not want him.
And I could not agree more.
Yep.
But at the same time, like, it doesn't make sense. Like you know, you're not gonna fire him over a running back. You're not gonna like. I mean, you had to. If you want to get this offense right, you got to give him pieces that he wants to use.
Yep.
I am very skeptical about how long Pat Shurmur is going to be here. Now, if Aaron Rodgers comes here, well, he'll be here. He'll be a head coach again. Like, he'll do all that stuff. But
I mean, they didn't know how to use him.
He didn't know how to use him. He didn't want to use him
No
the way that he
coordinator
needs to be
after
used.
Bill Musgrave knew how to use him. Really?
Yeah.
So I mean, why force it? And also, very different backs. I mean, that's
totally. That's what I mean. Is like you went and got a guy that clearly is a better fit for what they want to do.
And that's the thing. Like, that's why they never knew how to use Phil Lindsay. Was he was this 195 back who ran really good between the tackles.
Yeah.
While they would like to use him like a 195-pound back. Javonte Williams, you can use like a 215-pound back.
And
Run up
as
the
you
middle,
bring that up,
run outside. You can do all that.
here's something that you may find surprising. So I just looked up how Javonte performed based on which hole he hit. From all the way from like outside the tackle on the left to outside the tackle on the right. And the two places where he was the worst last season, the two A-gaps. Meanwhile, you look at Michael Carter, who's 5'9", 198, I think it said. His best was the right A-gap.
Very Philip
So that is,
Lindsay-esque.
yeah, it is interesting to see, and like real sample size and all that kind of stuff, that is where he struggled, is in those A-gaps. And where he really succeeded was all the way out at the edge.
So by
the stretch
struggling,
runs.
we mean what?
4.1 yards per carry in the right gap, 5.3 on the left gap, which isn't bad, but compared to a 7.4 overall, 9 to the right edge, 8.2
He averaged
to the left.
7.4 yards per carry across the season.
Yeah.
On
Oh, yeah.
outside runs.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, no, that's
No,
overall. That's
overall.
overall. Outside runs, 9 to the left, 8.2 to the right. Left guard, that's outside the left guard, 7.9. Right tackle, 6.4. Left tackle, 5.9. A-gaps, 5.3, 4.1.
Yeah, and you'll typically break bigger runs.
How do you
Yeah,
lose a
that's-
game with
Yep.
a running back who's averaging 7.4 yards like in that game?
Well, and then if
And
Michael
you have
Carter,
Sam Howell, the number one pick next year.
well, Michael Carter was averaging what between the A gaps,
and that's the thing, is that's where he was his best. And that's what's
no,
surprising.
I heard you, but
yeah.
how many yards was he averaging? Like an absurd. If he was doing better than 5.3, 5.3 is insane down the A gap.
yes.
What if I told you that Michael Carter ran 12.3 yards per
nuts.
carry through that right A gap?
Holy.
26
How did
attempts.
they lose?
26 attempts, 320 yards.
He must have had like a 99-yard run.
Long
or
was
something.
62.
Oh, 62, even then.
But then, like, he had a 65 to the right guard. But yeah, like, there's some, I mean,
Dude,
they're numbers. They
There
don't
has been a
mean
trade
everything,
at,
but it's
like,
interesting.
Every pick.
Yeah. Yes, ever since
The
the Broncos,
Raiders traded
essentially.
up.
Oh,
Yep.
the Raiders might go get
The Raiders
JOK.
have traded up to get. They could They could. It'll be
As
interesting.
soon as I know, I'll let you
Who's the
guys
best
know.
Clemson player on the board? That's
I'm
pretty much the only
really
players.
surprised Ojulari's still available. Amari Rodgers would be the best Clemson player available.
That's that probably.
No.
It doesn't really make sense.
Henry Ruggs. Do they need someone else? But maybe. They could go Ojulari, honestly. Be really interesting to see. Wow, what a pick. What a pick.
It's gonna be fun.
Gosh, Mina Kimes tweeted it out, and it's so true. She's like, the Broncos are now ready to compete for a Super Bowl if they have Aaron Rodgers. And I mean, they were before. But, like, it's so hard not to think about what this offense could look like with Aaron Rodgers running it.
100%. And I mean, you really wonder how much that came into play last night.
Let me know if you see him.
I mean, how much that really played into.
So for this
passing on fields.
trade with the Raiders, San Francisco trades pick number 43 and a 7th round pick to Vegas for number 48.